With the search for Brian Laundrie coming to a close following the release of his final autopsy, the FBI is now being exposed for not doing their job. Within the details of that autopsy, we learned that Brian had taken his own life, which means that the whole time he was running from authorities, he was possibly armed. Now the FBI is being grilled over why they didn't notify the public that Brian Laundrie was possibly carrying a weapon. Law enforcement and the internet was on the lookout for any sighting of Brian following the death of his fiancée Gabby Petito. Her remains have been discovered in Wyoming, where the couple had visited during a road trip. However, when Brian returned home alone and in Gabby's van, people began to be suspicious that he was involved in her disappearance. Suddenly, the media was all over Brian's family home and the FBI was brought on to locate him. A forensic anthropologist determined that his cause of death was head injuries caused by a bullet. Attorney Steve Bertolino, who had represented the Laundrie family, was the first to notify them of this and later said to the press, "Chris and Roberta are still mourning the loss of their son and are hopeful that these findings bring closure to both families." And it may bring closure to both families, but it has certainly not made the public feel any safer. The big question on a lot of people's minds is that if Brian did take his own life, well then where is the weapon? Throughout this entire manhunt where local police were involved, the FBI was involved, even Dog the bounty hunter found a way in, yet throughout all of this, there was never any indication that Brian could be armed. Now you could argue that maybe all of these law enforcement agencies just didn't know that he was armed, and so how could they possibly have told the public this? Well, it turns out that they did know. The Laundrie family lawyer spoke with the press and said that one of the family's weapons was missing when Brian disappeared. However, investigators decided to knowingly keep this from the public to avoid anyone panicking. The attorney could not confirm what the make and model of the weapon was, but did say that the family knew it was a pistol. Bertolino goes on to say, "I don't know if law enforcement would mention that at the beginning. They found a body, they found possessions, that was it." When Brian left his parents' home, he told them that he was headed to the Carlton Reserve, but his remains ended up being found just less than 20 miles east of the Yakahachie Creek Environmental Park. Police discovered Brian's remains underwater, so because it's unclear how long his remains were submerged, doing the autopsy became a huge issue. On top of that though, now that we know a weapon was involved, many believe that it could still be somewhere in that park. It could also be submerged, but it could also not be. If the FBI really cared about public safety, they would be looking for this missing weapon. Program coordinator of the Forensic Studies and Justice Program at the University of South Florida, Peter Massey, said that if Brian took his own life like the autopsy had revealed, and they don't have a firearm at that scene, then they have a big issue on their hands, adding that they need to account for this weapon, because then they could have a whole host of other issues to deal with. I don't even know if they can officially close this case until that missing piece is found. One thing's for sure though, the general public right now does not feel very safe knowing that the FBI kept this important piece of information hidden from them. Twitter is also in an uproar over this, and many believe that Brian could actually still be alive. To make this situation even stranger though, the attorney for Gabby Petito's family released a statement after being told about Brian's autopsy. However, in the statement they say something about additional individuals being charged. In the statement, their attorney Richard B. Stafford says, "The Schmidt and Petito family has been aware of the circumstances surrounding the death of the sole suspect in Gabby's death. Gabby's family will not be making a statement at this time due to the request of the United States Attorney's Office and the Teton County Prosecutor's Office. The family was asked to not make any comments and let the FBI continue their investigation. The family was also asked to wait for the United States Attorney's Office to make a determination on whether any additional individuals will be charged. When that determination is made, we will have a statement." And we will be patiently waiting for that statement. For now though, folks, that's all the time that we have for today. Stay classy, and I'll see you on the next one.